Alright, so I don't know where to begin. You should probably just go to the very beginning. So, I was born in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and I grew up in a Christian household. That's basically, I went through Sabbath school or Sunday school or whatever you want to call it, and learned all about the Bible, went through Christian schooling, and then with most of us in life, there was a whole bunch of family turmoil that took place in my life during high school, and since I lost a lot of trust in my family, and they were Christians, I just in turn lost a lot of trust in Christianity itself and God, and I didn't like the situation, all the news that I found out about my family's past and all of this, and I just tried to search for truth for myself. And even though I was forced to be in Christian schooling, I went searching through truth by traveling across the world, going to different places, experimenting with drugs, experimenting with different religions, any philosophies that would come my way, I would test them out. Music, everything. Movies, I was just so into any scene possible and accepting everything out there to be able to satisfy these longings that I had, and really nothing was doing the trick. I got to college, which was also a Christian university. I studied psychology and art, and I wanted to go on to art therapy. So that was really the beginnings of my journey. Search for truth, search for God, search for my purpose in life. Right before I got into university, I actually had my first arrest. I was about 17 years old. And so when I got into university, being a Christian university and all, there was actually this revival at the beginning of the year. I heard some good music, got all emotional, started crying, repented to God, and for all the things that I had done, got baptized. But just a couple weeks later, after I got baptized, I had some Bible studies leading up to that. But after I got baptized, I kind of saw that all of my Christian friends were still going, and dancing. They were still going to the same movies, still listening to the same music. Everything stayed the same. Nothing changed. And I was thinking to myself, like, if they only knew how much more fun it would have been with all the drugs I was doing before. Like, it sucks. Like, now it's like I'm doing the same stuff, it's not as fun. So I just went back to the old way, and I didn't really hear any of the stuff I needed to hear. That's why I think this is so important, why we have to talk about these issues. It's because nobody wants to talk about them. And once they do get voiced, that's when you actually understand why you were baptized, why you should get baptized, or why you should accept God, or believe in God, that He exists, or actually accept the Bible and move forward in life, because there's something to live for. But I didn't know any of that. So I dove back into the party scene. I obviously started out with soft drugs, tobacco, whatever, smoking weed, and drinking alcohol, and doing shrooms, all that stuff, and then gradually crept up to, pills and all of the other stuff. Got into coke and all of this stuff. What I just kind of went off and tried to do as much as I could do with the amount of time that I could do it. I wanted to get free drugs now that I was doing some often, so I started dealing. And that really helped perpetuate these addictions that I had. Addictions are pretty much just dependencies that you have for happiness. And I was addicted to many things: drugs, sex, media in general, music, movies, fashion, the way I looked. I was addicted to all these things in order to find some satisfaction, like I was saying, and I found nothing. Instead, I found a bottomless pit, waking up in the mornings feeling worse than I did before I even took the pill. I was just depressed, became suicidal to the point I didn't even want to live anymore. And I was unhealthy. I used to be athletic, being able to do things. Now I'm not even able to walk up a flight of stairs without issues with breathing or swimming across a pool without getting up and not even be able to make it with one breath of air underneath the water. I really now realized that life sucked. And this is when I got in trouble with the law and was arrested about 3 more times. So yeah, ending up in about 3 arrests. The last arrest actually was brutal. It was a narcotics charge that I had, and it resulted in my expulsion from school, and actually I got deported from the country because I was going to school in the United States. So during that time, I was still on probation with the state of Michigan, but because I wasn't able to attend, then a warrant for my arrest was put out, and it just kind of went all haywire. During that time, I thought I had about 3 months, because that's what my lawyer said before I had my court date that I was waiting for to get day paroled in. But I just kind of was thinking to myself, you know, that's enough time for the drugs to clear out of my system. I'm just going to go nuts. So I started partying like crazy, got into a car accident, and almost killed myself, which was a miraculous event. I should have died for sure. But not... in my car, everything was cool. It was nuts. You got to read about it later when I tell you where to find the story. And then after I got day paroled in, that was expedited. That's like within those 2 weeks that I started partying hard. Somewhere it got expedited from 3 months to 2 weeks. I had to go down there, but I had to get drug tested, which I should have came up dirty for, but it actually was clean. And the whole story between about that is all of this resulted because I had nothing to fall back on. I couldn't get into the country because of some stupid circumstances on my part. My dad was disappointed in me, who was driving me across the border. I had no one to turn to, so I turned to God. I prayed for help for the first time in 8 years, and He answered my prayer. I was sincere. I repented. I wanted to be with Him. I wanted Him to help. So after that, I basically was supposed to go to jail because my PO was recommending it. That didn't take place. If it would have taken place, I wouldn't have been able to come into the United States ever again because of the circumstances. And this whole story you can find actually posted on the 7 Minutes for Heaven Facebook page that we're going to be setting up. And after that, it's not in the story, I went to Brazil as a missionary. I did detox, fasted, and I was fully devoted and involved to just serving others instead of trying to serve myself for happiness. And that's what brought happiness, because I found out that truth, God, life, these are all the essentials in which you need in order to be satisfied. And now I'm studying in the seminary down here in Michigan, and I'm preparing to be a pastor. God gave me a wife who is beautiful, and I am completely happy with the life in which I'm living now.